So we kept you waiting there, Caroline. How are you doing?
It's not a problem. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. So what do you think?
Well, I agree with most of the panel. I think he's been shoved under the bus by this woman. She knows she's on a short wicket, and the only one she can attack is Harry. You know, as you said, 18 people before him had resigned. So that must say something.
Hang on, I thought you were saying he'd been treated unfairly, and now you're saying actually he's got a litany of victims behind him.
No, I think he's been treated desperately unfairly.
Oh, okay. Why did all those people resign then?
But they resigned before him because of her.
Oh, because of Meghan?
Harry.
Oh.
No, because of the lady who was in charge of the charity, their chairman.
Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't all resign from that charity, but...
Meghan.
Okay, all right. What do you think, Bill? Sympathy with Harry or the opposite?
Oh, Harry, absolutely. Harry, you'll see this unravel over the next few days and find out that this lady has told more lies than anything. What you're finding now is that she's imported one of William's henchmen, as he was sitting next to her on the programme with on Sky yesterday. The same as the imported Jason Knopf when they tried to beat the Daily Mail.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for all your calls on this later. See, it gets vexed, doesn't it?
Hello and welcome to Royal Chronicle. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for your incredible support. May God continue to bless you. I love you all so much, and together we'll keep spreading positivity about Harry, Meghan, Archie and Lilibet. Let's keep growing this amazing community. Like, comment and subscribe as we push for 1 million and beyond. Now let's dive into the fun and start exploring. The unravelling media manipulation exposed on live television. Ever thrown a boomerang of truth? Jeremy Vine certainly didn't expect one flying straight into his broadcast studio that day. It was just another seemingly ordinary morning talk show, with Vine settled comfortably in his presenter's chair, expecting another predictable segment. But then came the caller, one of those rare moments where someone decides to pull back the curtain and reveal the machinations behind the media's carefully constructed narrative. Vine's face, usually so composed and professional, suddenly contorted in a mix of shock and uncertainty, his trademark smooth delivery stuttering as the caller methodically dismantled the coordinated storyline about Prince Harry. It was like watching a polished media machine suddenly grind to an awkward screeching halt, with Vine caught right in the epicenter of this unexpected truth tornado. The studio's pristine atmosphere crackled with tension, and for a brief, electrifying moment, the carefully managed facade of journalistic neutrality slipped, revealing something raw and unscripted beneath. Karma's digital echo. When truth pierces media's veil. Ever thrown a radio bombshell? It's a fascinating experience, isn't it? You dial in with all your might, watching your words spin and slice through the airwaves. It spins away, loops around and wham, right into the studio's heart. It's almost magical how truth returns, defying the expectations of a simple call. Karma's got a sense of humour like that. During Jeremy Vine's show, a caller did exactly that, dropping a revelation that caught everyone off guard like a boomerang of unfiltered truth. The studio's atmosphere instantly transformed from calm discussion to electric tension. Vine's usual composed demeanour crumbled faster than a house of cards. The caller wasn't just speaking. They were systematically unmasking what seemed to be a calculated media narrative against Prince Harry right there on live television. The moment was raw, unscripted, a genuine peek behind the carefully constructed media curtain. Vine's flustered reaction spoke volumes more than any rehearsed response could. His momentary loss of professional composure suggested the caller had struck a nerve, exposing something deeper than just another royal commentary. The universe loves these little reminders that truth has its own trajectory, sometimes arriving precisely when least expected. Karma's digital reckoning, when media meets its match. Ever thrown a stone into a pond? Watch how those ripples spread, getting wider and wider, That's kind of how Prince Harry's media battle has been unfolding. You know, the drill, constant scrutiny, relentless headlines, the sort of coverage that feels less like journalism and more like a personal vendetta. Harry's not just some royal throwing shade, he's been systematically exposing the media's not-so-subtle game of manipulation. Remember how we talked about karma and those boomerang vibes? Yeah, the British media is about to get a taste of its own medicine. He's called out the toxic narratives, the constant spinning of stories, the way headlines are crafted to provoke and divide. It's like he's holding up a mirror, showing exactly how those sensationalist tactics work, making people uncomfortable by revealing the machinery behind the madness. And let's be real, when you spend years targeting someone, painting them as the villain, eventually the universe has a way of evening the score. Karma's got jokes, and right now it's looking like the media might be the punchline. The unravelling media manipulation exposed on live television. Jeremy Vine, visibly caught off guard, scrambled to regain control of the rapidly derailing interview. His trademark composed demeanour cracked momentarily as the caller's unexpected revelations threatened to expose the carefully constructed narrative surrounding Prince Harry. With a mix of professional urgency and barely concealed discomfort, Vine attempted to redirect the conversation, his voice slightly higher pitched than usual, interjecting with practiced media deflection techniques. The studio atmosphere grew thick with tension, as if the carefully maintained facade of journalistic neutrality was beginning to crumble under the weight of uncomfortable truths being aired live, catching both the host and unsuspecting viewers in a moment of raw, unscripted revelation. When media narratives unravel, the royal coverage conundrum. Ever thrown a stone into a pond and watched the ripples spread? Media narratives are kind of like that. One unexpected revelation can send shockwaves through the entire ecosystem of reporting, especially when it comes to the royal family. The Jeremy Vine moment wasn't just a random incident. It was a seismic shift that exposed the intricate machinery behind media storytelling. Suddenly, the carefully constructed narratives start to look like a house of cards ready to collapse with just one strategic pull. The public, who've been fed a steady diet of sensationalized royal coverage, began to see the strings being pulled, the angles being manipulated. It's almost like pulling back the curtain and seeing the wizard isn't quite as magical as everyone thought. And let's be real, the media's reputation, it takes a hit harder than a boomerang coming back with a vengeance. What goes around in terms of manipulative reporting? Well, it definitely comes around leaving journalists and media outlets scrambling to maintain their credibility in an increasingly skeptical world. The media's dance accountability, narrative and the power of public voice. Ever thrown a boomerang into the media landscape? It's a fascinating experience, isn't it? You toss an opinion out there and watch how it spins, loops, and sometimes comes hurtling right back at the broadcasters themselves. The Jeremy Vine show incident is a perfect example of this karmic media dance, where a seemingly ordinary caller can suddenly expose the intricate web of narrative manipulation. Just like our previous story about online negativity, this moment reveals how media accountability isn't just a theoretical concept, it's a living, breathing dynamic where audience voices can unexpectedly puncture carefully constructed media narratives. The caller's intervention wasn't just a random interruption. It was a stark reminder that modern media consumption is no longer a one-way street. Audiences aren't passive receivers, but active participants, capable of challenging, dismantling and reconstructing the stories being fed to them. In an era of instant communication and global connectivity, the old rules of media engagement are rapidly transforming, with public discourse becoming a collaborative and often unpredictable performance.